Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to another live stream here on the channel. Hopefully everyone is having a great Monday. I think it should be a Monday. Yeah, a great Monday, or at least as good of a Monday as you can be having. Let's see who we have here in chat. What is this? Members only live stream? Yeah, no, we ain't doing that one for this stream. I don't know why YouTube recommended me that right now. Let's see what we have here in the chat. We have Western Ohio. We have Proxy, Misty, Sam, King, Bob, as well as Zachary and Maury, and everyone else who's in the chat who I may have forgotten to welcome. Or if you may not be chatting and you're just now tuning in, glad to have you in this stream, Jefferson, as well as Pete. All right, let's go ahead and switch on over to our main scene. Just double check, make sure everything's good. We are good to go. And of course, the SBC site's down at the top left. Now that one's out of my control. I'm going to just have to find something else to replace that with, because it just loves to do that. It just loves to do that. So, yeah, we're actually going to be talking about the threat for severe weather today. It is actually currently overperforming quite a bit. We have a lot more severe thunderstorms than what we were initially anticipating. And they're a little bit further off to the east than what we were anticipating, too. We weren't expecting them all the way out towards just barely southwest of Wichita. Now, the marginal, there we go. The marginal does go that far, generally near Wichita, but not the slight risk area. So it's not like a ridiculously far east severe event that's happening here, but it is a little bit further east than what models were expecting and what the SPC was denoting and things like that. So yeah, we're gonna dive on into holy cow, man, I ain't seen something like that in a long time. It's been a hot minute since I've seen a storm like that. Big old supercell right there. So obviously by looping that, I would have definitely freaked out a bit more if I didn't loop that. You could see it is a cell merge. So that is actually a fake hook echo that is forming right now. If I wasn't looping that and I was only looking at that still frame, I would have freaked out a lot more. But that's actually a cell merge, so it's a fake hook echo at the moment. Storms today are going to struggle to produce tornadoes. I saw some of you guys talking about a SIG Tor day because it's just 2025 and things happen like that. This is definitely not the type of day where we see some random significant tornado pop out of thin air. Now, if we do get a good boundary to get going, yes, we could see a strong tornado, but we're going to see very elevated wall clouds. We may even see some funnels here and there, but most likely any funnels that do form are just going to go right back up into where they came from and likely not touch down. We don't have a lot of wind shear today. We have plenty. We have plenty of instability. We don't have a good lower level jet. Our mid level jet is very poor. The northwesterly flow. Our dew points are low. Our temps are high. So it's not a good setup for tornadoes today. Now we are definitely on the table to see a tornado or two. That's definitely a possibility. But in terms of a strong tornado, that is extremely conditional and will probably only occur if we can see a outflow boundary or some sort of boundary attached to a well-defined supercell. Let me bring the mic a lot closer there. I had that really far away from me. I apologize. So yeah, you can see here, this is our velocity. Definitely no signs of anything tornadic here. Now, there has been multiple reports of chasers. I even watched a chaser feed before I started up the stream here. And there's definitely some raggedy wall clouds, but a lot of the structures, if you're watching those chasers, you'll notice a lot of it looks high-based. A lot of it is it looks like it's really far from the ground. Nothing is even remotely close towards the surface or really a good wall cloud going. I'll go take a look at that chaser again just to see if maybe this storm structure has changed because of that cell merge. That cell merge just happened in like the last literally 10 minutes. So I do want to see if maybe something... Okay, still a very raggedy wall cloud and some scud. Let's see. Let's go over here. I believe they've upgraded this. Yes, they've upgraded this to a TOR possible severe thunderstorm warning. So if you are in the severe thunderstorm warned area, there is actually 2 severe warnings. So one up here, this one, which is in effect just along the Highway 160 corridor, this area here, that is not the TOR possible severe. The one off to the southwest is. So we've got half TOR possible, half not TOR possible. Either way, if you're in the severe warned area, you need to be away from doors and windows. Stay close to your safe spot because this storm is capable of producing considerable damage in the form of 2-inch in diameter hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, and also the potential for a tornado with this storm does exist. So this storm is in southwestern Kansas. We're going to switch over to weatherwise here. So this is your storm we're really watching here. This is the border of Oklahoma and Kansas right here. So there's Highway 283 and Highway 160 going into Ashland, and it's just to the southwest of Ashland. That's where we have this area of interest in the form of very weak area of rotation, very raggedy wall cloud. Like I said, it is a fake hook echo that formed there to the southwest of Ashland, but there is some rotation trying to sneak closer and closer to the surface. I'll go check that chaser again. Yeah, a lot of this, that wall cloud's already fully dissipated. So they're very, very brief, raggedy wall clouds that aren't sustaining very well with this storm. So the tornado threat doesn't appear to be imminent or anything too crazy with this cell yet, but it is definitely capable of very large hail, damaging winds, and it did go to a TOR possible tag like I already mentioned there. All right, zooming out some here. Actually, yeah, okay. Zooming out here. So this severe thunderstorm watch, which I don't believe is big enough. I don't know why we don't have a severe watch a little bit further to the west where we have a severe storm there, but okay. But this severe thunderstorm watch, if you are in this pink area, in my opinion, should be all the way into the northwest panhandle of Texas there. If you're anywhere in that area, a severe thunderstorm watch means conditions are favorable for the development of severe weather. So you need to make sure you're staying close to your local media outlets, your local meteorologist. Make sure your phone's fully charged and make sure the alerts are turned on. So that way, if you do get any warnings, you can, have the proper precautions and take action. So currently we have a couple severe thunderstorm warnings. This one that just got issued moments ago over Nashville in south central Kansas. That is for 1.5-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We have one out here just east of Greensburg. This has been in effect for a little while here. 1.5-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds there. And then our main one is the one over Ashland, Kansas. 2-inch hail, tornado possible tag, and 60-mile-an-hour winds there. We do also have that newest one in Texas as well for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. So plenty of severe thunderstorm warnings here. We've got 5 in effect, at least in this area here. I don't know if we have any more across the country. Nope, we've got 5 in effect, and most are in Kansas, 1 there in Texas. So let's go over to our outlook. So this is your Storm Prediction Center outlook for today. This dark green is your marginal risk. That's your level 1 out of 5. That yellow is your slight risk, level 2 out of 5 for severe storms. The main threat today is going to be the chance for some isolated 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. The biggest hazard by a milestone is hail. Could see some hailstones as large as 3-inch in diameter. And then we could also see a brief spin-up tornado or two. But like I said, not a good environment for tornadoes today by any means. Definitely a big hail day, that is for sure. Completely agree with that 15 hatched hail risk. That is definitely the biggest hazard today. And there's your newest severe warning. They just upgraded that to 2.5-inch hail now. So we're getting very close to that destructive threshold. So a destructive severe for hail is 2.75 inch in diameter or greater. This is at 2.5. So it is very, very large hail, nearly destructive hail. And all this velocity is contaminated. Just a heads up to anyone who may be following along on their radars as well. That is very much contaminated radar for velocities. Very, very contaminated. Where is our radar beam? So our radar beam's up in Dodge City. That's bad. That is bad because that means we're scanning right through the hail core and any hook echo or whatever this may be before we actually get to the area of rotation. So not a very clear beam there. Let's see. Welcome, Legacy. Glad to see you in here. Ben, glad to see you. Proxy. Let's see. Studios, glad to see you. Wind, glad to see you in here. Hopefully everyone's having, like I said, as good as you can have a good Monday. Zachary, welcome to the stream. Glad to see you in here. Catman, welcome to the stream. Quite a bit of people in here. Glad to see you guys all in here. Hopefully you're all having a great Monday. Let me go over here. Why is it? I don't know what YouTube's up. I'm just not going to click that because it might turn it into members only, and I don't want to do that. How are you enjoying the cool weather? It's awesome. It is very awesome. It is actually very difficult for me to live stream recently and to make videos because I've been very busy with just the nice weather. It is awesome outside. So I haven't had much motivation to do anything in the form of gaming or any content on this channel. I've been outside a lot. It's too nice. When was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday morning I went outside. It was like mid-50s. I had to get a hoodie. I was like, gracious, dude. And that was at like 9 a.m. So that wasn't even when it was its coolest. Like, gracious day, dude. Getting back into the winter side of things. But in other forms of weather, man, like Ben said, it has been dead. That's another reason why I haven't been motivated much. We haven't had a lot to talk about. We had that severe event up in the Northeast produce 2 EF1 tornadoes, I'm pretty sure, at least from what I saw out there in Western Massachusetts. And I was gone. I was out in central North Carolina that day. So I wasn't able to cover that. And really that was the only thing. And then this event came out of nowhere. It started appearing on models like 2-3 days ago, but it didn't look nearly as good as what it looked like this morning. And then all the models backed off on it early this afternoon. Many models barely had any convection. And if it was convection, it was very messy. And, then I hopped on my computer here at about 5:30 actually. 5:30 I got on my computer and we started seeing this guy fire up here in Ashland. This started turning more into a supercell and less of a cluster because you could see it was very messy at first. This was 5:30 when I first got on my computer here. Very messy, just some isolated small hail, heavy rain, lightning, bit of gusty winds, and then it really started to intensify. And now watching that hook a bit closer. Now starting to watch that hook and those velocities a bit closer here. That's definitely not as corrupted as the last hook echo there, so I'll need to keep an eye on that. Remember, this storm is capable of producing a tornado. It is a Tor possible tag. So what that means is there's an area of rotation or concern that the NWS thinks may be capable of producing a tornado in the future, but it's not an imminent tornado. So they don't believe a tornado is going to form in, the next couple seconds to the next couple minutes. but they're keeping that tornado possible tag. That way, you know, they give a heads up. Hey, this storm could produce a tornado in the future, but it's not actively capable of producing a tornado this very second. Now, if that does change, we'll see that tornado warning get issued. You'll see a big red box appear on your screen. And we may not be too far from that. We'll have to see what the next scan has here. But we're definitely not that far away from seeing a red box up here. Let's see. So we're going to want to keep a really close eye on that just to see how things mature. Let's go to the Amarillo radar site. So our most favorable environment here, make sure you can't see this screen. Our most favorable environment really is right where that storm fired. This storm over here honestly has fired in the best position. Maybe not the... Let's see. Man, it's been a hot minute. I got to get back in the severe weather side of things. Yeah, really it has. It actually has formed in the best position. I thought maybe not the best for shear, but honestly, when you overlap shear and instability, it's really formed in the perfect area. Still, the temperature dew point spread is, it's not as bad here. I'd say it's about 15. We're probably at high 70s, or not high 70s, my bad. High 60s for dew points, so somewhere around maybe 67, 68 dew points. And we're probably in the low 80s, upper 70s for temperature. So still a pretty good temperature dew point spread there. But definitely not as bad as like back out in northwest Texas where this storm is. That is 90 and 55. So everything there is going to be very, very elevated. Very, very elevated in that place, northwest Texas. So yeah, just keep an eye on that. Definitely not like the craziest area of rotation, but those pixels may actually be legitimate velocities there. So just keep a really close eye on that as it moves off to the southeast here. Let's see. Yeah, they did remove the Tor Possible tag there north of Buffalo in Oklahoma. This is probably, yeah, this is issued by Norman. I think this is probably Dodge City or somewhere near there, NWS. Dodge City, there you go. Yeah, so that's why. We'll see if Norman upgrades that severe thunderstorm warning to Tor Possible. But yeah, this is definitely taking on a much better supercell structure now than it was just a couple minutes ago. So this is definitely producing some big time hail. You can see a really good kind of just this this kind of separated updraft feature. More notable back here, you could see the eagle split or butterfly split, whichever one you like to call it, and then it goes into the rest of the supercell like that. And that's because you have a kind of a split updraft. It's a split updraft, and it favors more hail in supercells, and it signifies a very mature supercell, especially with one that looks like this. So you could see how you've got very high DBZ values here, and then very high DBZ values here. So that pretty perfect split in DBZ values. That's going to mean there's going to be a lot of hail, especially in this region here. That's where your hail is going to be the worst. And maybe even a little bit to the southwest of that too. Even like outside of the reflectivity values, like this area. So even going into this region with pretty much no reflectivity values, you could still get some very large hailstones out of that. Yeah, still no good. Well, that's not a new scan yet. Yeah, still no good area of rotation. It's very weak. Barely present. But definitely enough to just keep an eye on it. Yeah, looks a lot stronger on this site. So definitely looks like those DBZ values have shifted a little bit more southwest on this newest frame. So definitely this side is going to have your largest hail. So if you don't want a windshield anymore, that's the road to be on. River Road. That's the road to be on if you don't want a windshield right now. Wonder if anybody's on that road. Yeah, again, you could see the split updraft effect here. And then that helps form your classic butterfly or eagle split shape supercell. Then it goes back to your hook echo. And yeah, not surprised. Observed 2.75-inch hail. Yeah, not surprised at all. So this is now a destructive PDS severe thunderstorm warning for confirmed 2.75-inch hail. It's also 70-mile-per-hour winds radar indicated as well. Yeah, not shocked with that. So tennis ball or baseball-sized hail. Baseball-sized hail has been observed with this storm. There's a couple storm chasers on the river road. Well, hopefully they're further south on that road, getting out of the hail core, because that's going to be dropping some big hailstones. Yeah, you can see now the orange here. See how the polygon changes from... so on this software, this GR2, you can see here, this is an ordinary severe for my warning table. And then when it goes highlighted, that's considerable severe. And then it turns to orange for a PDS destructive severe. So the public reported baseball-sized hail in Ashland. Really? No, I don't have that report in yet. Maybe it was just south of Ashland. Because I see the 1.75-inch hail report, the 1-inch hail report. There might be a 2.75-inch hail report under that. But definitely somewhere around Ashland. Public reported it 5:10 Central. So that is about 11 minutes ago, 2.75-inch hail. 70-mile-an-hour winds, that is radar indicated. So the hail has been observed by the public and then could also be capable of producing 70-mile-an-hour winds. And it is still a Tor possible tag as well. See if there's anything... Oh, new severe in Oklahoma. Let's go over to that. 60-mile-an-hour winds, 1-inch hail for Burlington, Cherokee, Byron, just barely east of Capron in north central Oklahoma. So just make sure you're away from doors and windows there, and you'll be perfectly fine. You'll be perfectly fine as long as you stay away from doors and windows. Okay, that's going to be a tornado warning. I haven't heard that in a long time. I haven't heard that one in a long time. So there's your new tornado warning. So we are now at a tornado warning just to the east of Eaglewood. So if you're in that red polygon, make sure you are in your safe spot. So a tornado warning means a storm is capable of producing a tornado. Tornado is either imminent or possibly even already on the ground. So make sure you are seeking shelter immediately. This is an imminent tornado. Like I said, I wasn't home, King Bob. I was in central North Carolina. All right, let's go see the population on that tornado warning. Let me see. Give me just a second. Oh, wow. That mesocyclone's a lot lower now. Yeah, there is 84 people inside that tornado warning. 84 people in that new tornado warning. And it's definitely imminent now. A very, very large mesocyclone there. So you can see, especially gracious on radar now. Look at that. That newest frame. Really good idea to pull that tornado warning trigger. Really good idea. Because that new frame, man, that is where we're now at a classic supercell. Very classic supercell there. Very classic Supercell. Not very strong rotation. You can see we don't really have a lot of inflow and outflow or inbound and outbound velocities there. Very, very scattered velocity signatures. So still very much capable of producing a tornado. Velocity and radar itself does not tell the whole story, especially when you get a little bit further from the radar sites. Look at that. It's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute since I've seen a supercell like this in Kansas, man. I don't even know the last time we saw a supercell like this in Kansas. It's definitely been months. I can tell you that. It has been months for sure. It's definitely been months. And even just a supercell in general. So you can see that cell merge is what really helped it. So very clearly, this was already at a nice supercell structure from the get-go. You could just tell from the curvature there, how the DBZ values curve like that. That's just a really good sign of a supercell forming, if not already formed. And there's a report, by the way, of 2.75-inch hail in Ashland, Kansas. And then that cell merge hit it. That helped get the hook echo going, but it didn't fully form yet. And then now it has fully formed. And you could see a really good inflow notch here. Really good inflow notch in this area. So that's where your winds are streaming into the supercell. And that's what gives it that hook echo shape. You have winds going into the storm like this, and so it pushes the DBZ values closer to a thin corridor. And then you have winds that are going like this too. And that's how you get your rotation and how you get a supercell. Now, if you get a boundary, that really helps. I don't see any boundaries here, but boundaries are really good to help speed up that process of tornado genesis. Feels like it's been years since I've said all these terms. Literally feels like it's been years. Man, I miss this. I miss covering and watching the radar. I miss it a lot. All right, I'm gonna pull this up. Hopefully this doesn't pop up right in the... Okay, it didn't pop up in the middle of the screen. That's good. Okay. There's the reason. Okay. Hold on a second. Y'all gonna have to bear with me. Mic test. Oh my goodness. Lord have mercy. Mic test. Mic test. Go down. There we go. I apologize if that was very loud. I probably should have gave a warning on that one. Down a little bit. All right. There you go. I apologize for that. My computer decided to put my microphone to 8 volume. 8 volume. I was looking at my microphone on Streamlabs. I'm like, it's getting lower every time I live stream. It's getting lower. So there you go. Let me see. You guys are saying tornado on the ground. Let's see. Is it better now? Is it too high? Hold on. Okay, it is still too high. All right, give me just a second. So should I don't know if I want to turn it down. So that's... I just turned it down a bunch on Streamlabs. Okay, I gotta turn it down on my computer volume. Okay. How about that? Better? Maybe? Nope. Okay. Well, now that might be really loud. Dude. Okay. I'm so sorry. That was very loud. I gotta test it on my end too. That was good. Okay. I wish I had Lucky in a call because I need to know if it's good on Discord too. My goodness. Gotta love microphone problems. I don't see a fully condensed tornado right now. I put the volume back down to 8%, which is probably why it sounds fine. Okay, let's try. Let's try that. Too loud or too low? Love it. All right. Well, either way, I'll figure this out a little bit later. But there's your tornado warning still in effect. I feel like it's capping out somehow. Yeah, exactly, Ben. And I don't know how to fix that. Wonder if that did anything. It might be an OBS issue. Oh well. Yeah, OBS is what did this in the first place. I'm gonna go over here to see if this works. Yeah, that was completely muted. Love it. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna try to get Lucky on a call so that way I can see if that helps at all. Wait, that's better. Hold on a second. Okay, it's a little bit more muffled when I talk loud, but it's not that bad. Gracious. Hold on, I've got another idea. Give me a moment, y'all. Actually, I can't do that. You know what? How about this? This could go very poorly. I hope you know that. All right. Unplug it, plug it back in. Any better? That's like worse, dude. Oh man. Yeah. I'm put really there. Now it's really far, so you can't even hear me. You could still hear me fine. I'm so confused. The audio level is not changing no matter how far away I put my mic on. It might be using. It's not using my other mic because if I mute this. See, I just muted it. You didn't hear me. Yep. Cooked. It's cooked. They just upgraded this severe to 2.75-inch hail and a new tornado warning there. I'm just going to be really, really low. That way it doesn't max out. And you guys are just going to have to, like, turn up your volume, maybe. Man. What if oh my goodness. I switched the input and it was a little better, but no, it ain't. Gracious. Well, we're about to find out if it's OBS or not, because Lucky's gonna call me. And I have this set to. I'm gonna check this. So, okay, that's capping out bad. Let me turn that down. Now I'm pretty sure it is not the microphone because I just tested it on a different site. Love it. Yes, I turned it down to 65%. See if that helped at all. Seems like it worked to me. I'm gonna talk louder. See if it capped out right there. Did I get it? I think I just turned it. Okay, hold on. So brace your ears. Is this much worse? See, I probably. That's so loud. Okay, I got it. Oh my word! I'm not touching it. I'm done. I'm not touching it anymore. Oh man. That was awful when you said, "Is this much worse?" Hey, it's moments like this that make a live stream worth streaming. Gotta love it. But we did just get a new tornado warning here for Roaston. Tell you the people in that. There's 191 people in that. No schools, no hospitals. And that is still baseball-sized hail. Okay. I'm just making sure it's good, so I'm consistently going back in my stream making sure. See you later, Legacy. So we've got this, I think that might be a little area of rotation. Generally somewhere in there, but it's not very strong. Apparently, yeah, it is not on the ground right now, I could tell you because I'm looking at a chaser feed. But apparently it was on the ground before. Am I capped out at all? Yeah, right now. Okay, I just wanted to see if it was, because it was screwing up on my stream like crazy. So if you say it's good, I think I fixed it now. All right, that's it. Have a great day. Bye. Oh man. I had to call Lucky real quick too, so it's good. No more messing with it. So yeah, there's still both of these severes are destructive, and both of the tornado warnings are radar indicated. So they never confirmed this. If it was on the ground, they did not confirm that tornado warning polygon, and I didn't see it from any chasers. So apparently, it was just a relayed report from other chasers, or similar to that. I'm gonna mess with my mic again. Turn it up a little. I know I said I wouldn't mess. Oh, too loud. Better. Okay. I got to get it right while I'm live because I don't want to go record a whole video and then it be too low. That's the last thing I want to do is go record a whole video and then it's way too low and I have to boost the audio. I had to do that one time and it was horrible. All right, let's see. That's the thing, Ben. I can't just fix it after stream because I need to know what it sounds like on stream because things are different on stream and off stream. That's why I needed Lucky in here too. All right, so we still have 2 severes now back out here in Northwest Texas. This is actually significant for wind. I'm pretty surprised on that. This is a new severe, 70-mile-an-hour winds, considerable severe. So that's a level 2 out of 3 for severe weather, or for the severe thunderstorm warning. So there's a normal one, which is a level 1 out of 3, considerable is a 2, and destructive's a 3. And we actually have all 3 in effect. Normal one is up here for 1-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's southeast of Greensburg. We have a destructive one out here north of Buffalo, Oklahoma, on the border of Oklahoma and Kansas. And then we have a considerable one, which is a one for Dalehart. How do you say that? How do you say that, Ben? I know you're going to correct me. There's no E in that. Dalehart for 70-mile-an-hour winds. And that's for the next hour and 3 minutes till 7:45 Eastern, which is 6:45 Central. Second one was correct. Got it. Let me check. I just extended this tornado warning for now 41 people. 41 people now in that tornado warning. One thing about weather-wise is for some reason on my end, the warnings have been, a little slacking behind, but that's just been on my end. It's like it just doesn't, my radar frames get stuck at a loop. So like if I say I leave it here, I have a slider on the bottom left that controls the radar here. You could see how it moves like that. And sometimes I'm guessing if you leave that up, the radar may not update anymore because it still thinks you're trying to loop it. So I gotta make sure to not have that open. Getting some better velocities on the outbounds here. So these are winds going away from the radar and winds going towards the radar. Now, as long as they're not tight, you can see there's this kind of area of weaker winds in the middle, very dark green / gray and very dark red. That means that it's very weak winds. So you have winds that are streaming like this, and then winds that are going a little bit more around like that. So as long as those two don't completely connect, this is not going to be it's not going to be rotating too much. Now we will have to watch for other areas. If I go ahead and loop this back, for instance, when it was first tornado warned, you can see there's little areas of rotation that may, briefly form and then dissipate. And then we could get another area of brief rotation here, and then it dissipates. And then now we have this very large, broad area of rotation. So we could easily get pixels to start to increase like right in here. And then we get a very small tight couplet to where we don't need these wind speeds over here. And some of that you can see by the sharp cutoff right here. Some of that is definitely hail contaminated. Definitely some corruption in that. Okay. Big overshooting top. How tall is this? Echo tops. Gracious day. 55,000 feet. I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually a little higher than that either. It would not surprise me if that's actually a bit higher than 55,000 feet. Satellite is wild. Let me show you satellite here. This is satellite imagery, and this is all overshooting tops from these storms. You could see this kind of like outflowous cirrus cloud look, especially up here into Iowa. That's outflow from these storms that have formed, and some of that is probably from the storms earlier in the day as well. Let me get on a different site. I'm going to loop. Yeah, some of that is from the morning thunderstorms we saw. We had morning convection here at about 5. No, this is closer to, 8 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern time. Man, that one supercell in Kansas, this is the one you're looking at right here. This is the tornadic one. And watch how much that explodes on satellite. So we have this huge cluster, and this is what's causing those overshooting tops. So these storms formed at like 5, 6 a.m. They formed, and then we really started to see those overshooting tops closer to 8, 9 o'clock. They were producing a lot more lightning and isolated severe weather. And that's what produced that outflow on satellite. I always love looking at the outflow. Let me see. Let's see if I can get this much better. Here you go. This is a good photo of outflow. So this is current satellite imagery, and you could see the outflow right in here. It's outflow from your supercells, your anvil tops. And then I'm sure, yes, we have another wider view of it too. Oh, wow, this loops all the way back. So that's your morning convection right there. Your morning convection right in that area. This is closer to 3, 4 o'clock Eastern. You can see those additional thunderstorms fire, and you get those overshooting tops, and that just helps contribute even further to the good outflow. And then look at that. That's our supercell right off of a boundary. Right off a boundary right there. You can clearly see a CU field starts to form, and you get a little bit more overshooting cloud tops there. More CU. And then eventually that turns into just full-on thunderstorms, and it just explodes from there on. Very, very rapidly explodes. Also, always love looking at that too. Look, that's the shadow of it. Right there. Draw it in pink here. Right there, that's the shadow of your anvil cloud. Just little things I love to look at from satellite and radar. Because I'm like that. Things that not everyone's going to notice on radar and satellite. Okay, now that's corrupted. Don't panic. Don't panic. That's corrupted. You could tell there is corruption right here. You could see it. It's hard to draw out perfectly, but right here you can see this beam got corrupted. And I bet, I'm not looking at it yet, but I bet there's hail right in here. Oh, a little bit more to the right. So not your main hail core, but definitely some higher precipitation. So what's happening is, and there's also storms up here too. So this radar beam that is going all the way to our tornadic storm, it has to scan through all this rain first. Once it scans through that, the beam then hits all this rain. Then it hits some hail. Then it hits the hook echo with more rain. And then it finally finds the area of rotation on velocity. And so that just contributes to corruption on top of corruption on top of worse and worse and worse data. It just gets worse and worse. And now we are getting further and further away. And we're about to go into a good radar hole here, too. Yep, there's chasers. I know there's a couple chasers on this. It still doesn't look the most organized from the chasers I'm watching. Still a huge mesocyclone and a wall cloud. But it's not the it's not as well confined like it was before. The base isn't as low to the ground. The whole thing was almost scraping the ground. At one point, the entire mesocyclone was almost just scraping the ground. And that was right either just before or right as it got its first tornado warning. Also, they disextended this warning again. Now there is 17 people in that warning. So 17 people in that first tornado warning. There is still 191 in the second tornado warning, which is in effect for Roston in north central Oklahoma. More of northwest Oklahoma. Yeah, that's why I'm covering today, because there's literally like, I don't know what to talk about for the next week or possibly even 2. So like this might be my only opportunity to do a live stream more than 1 hour. Because from here on out, it's just marginal general thunderstorm risks, and there's no good setups from here on out at all. We could get more northwest flow that could give us a sneaky setup similar to this towards the end of the week. But no really good setups for severe weather. And the tropics, I'll talk about that after this tornado warning expires. I don't want to talk about that whilst we have an active warning at the moment. That's still so much corruption. Bunch of corruption on this storm. Okay. They downgraded that severe, so this is no longer a PDS severe. This is a considerable severe, which you still need to take very seriously. If you're in that warning, you still need to be very close to, if not in your safe spot, if you're in the severe. Now, if you're in the tornado warning, you need to be in your safe spot. But they just downgraded that destructive severe to a considerable severe. But let me tell you this. You're not really going to notice the difference between 2.5 and 2.75 inch hail. Either way, it's huge hail that you do not want to be outside in. Either way, don't go outside, don't be near the doors and windows, and make sure you're in an interior room of your house. You're really not going to be able to tell unless you're measuring it, especially with like a hail measuring tool. You're really not going to be able to tell the difference between 2.5 and 2.75 inch hail. Yeah, we had Aaron. Aaron was very crazy. It's a very crazy system. A lot of uncertainty and a long-tracked major hurricane. Very crazy hurricane. That was the first very memorable hurricane of this season, and probably won't be the last. We should start seeing more activity towards the last week or so of September, and then especially into early October. Let's see. Funnel trying to come down. I don't see it yet on a chaser's feed, but probably just not pointed in the right direction here. Yeah, so this storm is very much capable of producing a tornado and is trying its best to produce a tornado. It may have already produced a tornado in the past here, back up towards Kansas, according to chasers. And it's definitely trying to produce another one here at any second. The good news is it doesn't look as classic as before. You can see that hook echo is starting to be a lot more rain wrapped here. So what that means is the hook echo is probably beginning to occlude, and hopefully it is occluding, and hopefully that will kind of cut off your tornado chance here. You could see that inflow cutting off more and more. You can't really tell a good area of inflow in here anymore. You still have your little notch right in there for inflow, but it doesn't go well into the supercell. So right now, this thing is definitely primarily a hail maker. That's the big issue with this storm. It's going to attempt to produce a tornado still over the next few minutes, and it's going to have multiple more chances at that, but the hail is going to be the biggest thing. Literally. Literally, like 2.5 to 3 inch in diameter hail will be possible with this storm. Let's see if we have anything else here. So that storm is now in a weakening trend. They just downgraded that to 60 mile an hour winds, 1 inch hail. So that's a basic, ordinary, severe. Still, stay away from doors and windows. Don't go outside. Severe thunderstorm warning is still something you need to be taking action for. And we have plenty of those, but none of these are significant. Significant severe is a considerable or destructive severe. And we only have one of those right now, and that's this supercell here. All the other ones, ordinary, 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 and ordinary. So those are all normal. Yeah. Give me a second. Oh, hey, wow, that's a big funnel right there. Good funnel cloud trying to touch down here. So make sure you're in your safe spot. There's a tornado trying to touch down here near Roston or Roaston. Big funnel. Very photogenic, too. Very photogenic. I believe it is somewhere. It's one of these. It's either up here or it is down in here. I think it's this one. I believe it is this area. Let's see here. I'm looking at the roads. All right, it is on the ground now. Yeah, so we have a tornado on the ground here with this storm now. Very, very small tornado in the middle of a field at the moment. Which is why I'm thinking it's this couplet. I'm trying to see the street name. Yeah. Yeah, it's this one. Unless there's one down in here. Yeah, no. So this is where we have a tornado. This area. Going to the south. So it's behind. It might be where the hook occluded. It's pretty much right where the hook echo was occluding. So tornado is on the ground here. Not fully condensed. It's like this. So you have your main, draw it out for you. You have your main cloud top here. And then you've got this tiny little tornado just like this, and the ground is like right down over here. So it's not fully condensed. It's a little more than halfway to the ground, a little bit farther down. It's a tiny little thing. Not a rope tornado. Not a rope tornado. It's like a very, very small stovepipe. And it is not fully condensed. Okay, there you go. So I haven't fixed this scene, so we're about to see what it looks like together. Only one thing screwed up. So we do have an observed tornado now. Let me fix that date really quick. So observed tornado in northwestern Oklahoma. Switch to that right now. In that blue polygon, we've got a tornado on the ground. And it is, again, with this slightly more northern couplet. That looks through the only couplet. Now the other one pretty much completely dissipated. So make sure you are in your safe spot. This is now a confirmed tornado warning, which means the tornado is on the ground and has been observed either by radar or by chasers. And in this case, it is by chasers. Either someone has, that's what I meant to say. Either someone's reported a tornado or it's observed by radar. And in this case, a chaser has reported, multiple chasers have reported a tornado is on the ground. So again, make sure you're in your safe spot. We have a tornado ongoing now. I'm trying to fix the date a little bit better. All right, let's go back over to here, because I want to zoom this in a little bit more for you. So that's where your tornado is right now. And that is Highway 283. There is Highway 64, and then it goes back to 283. So with the intersection of Highway 283 and 64, it is... Oh, actually, hold on. Let's switch back to this, because look at this. We do have a measuring tool on Weatherwise now. So it's probably about 7 miles, about 7 miles to the northeast of the intersection between Highway 64 and Highway 283 in northeastern Oklahoma. If it is still ongoing. Right now, it looks more like a funnel, maybe not ongoing anymore. But if it does touch back down, it's going to be a little bit to the south of that placement. It's going to be closer to this area here at the moment. So tornado may still be ongoing. It looks like it's... To me, it looks like it's lifted. However, I can't see the ground. And that means everything. It's definitely a funnel. I just can't see if there's any dirt being lifted. If there's dirt being lifted, it's observed. And it definitely was on the ground moments ago, and it may still be on the ground. Either way, you need to be in your safe spot. Also, we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. Torr possible 2-inch hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds. This is for a pretty large area. Buffalo all the way through May down to the Highway 270 corridor in far northwest Oklahoma. Just barely outside the panhandle of Oklahoma. And that hail size, we definitely could see some hailstones a little bit larger than 2-inch in diameter. But right now, it looks like the hail threat is starting to decrease at the moment. So hopefully that continues to be the case here. Yeah, I believe it's lifted. I'm pretty confident it's lifted at this point. I don't know if someone else has a better visual of it, but from this standpoint, it looks like it's lifted. Pretty sure it has. I didn't expect a tornado this month. Yeah, we typically see a minimum of like 10 tornadoes every month. I think February is the only chance where we may not see 10 tornadoes, but I'm pretty sure we see 10 tornadoes every single month. Minimum. Most months are much closer to 20, 30, 40 tornadoes. And then, of course, during your main tornado season, you can get like this year, 100 plus tornadoes in the matter of 30 days. Hello, Void. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you in here. Things are going pretty good. Had some mic issues early in the stream, but going pretty good. I fixed the microphone issue. My mic was it 8 or 9? 8 or 9%, one or the other. 8 or 9% volume on my computer for some reason. Now it's at 65. I had it at 100, but it seemed like that was causing it to like max out, even though the audio bar wasn't in the red. It sounded muffled and maxed out, so we got that fixed. So yeah, not really much happening here. Definitely little green, little red, but it's not very tight. But as you just saw, we don't need very tight rotation for a tornado to be produced. We got a tornado out of this couplet right here. This produced a tornado. I think that's probably touchdown between these two scans here, between that tightest scan and when it started to weaken a bit. That's when it produced a tornado, and then it lifted somewhere between these two frames, and then this is where we are now. All right. Before I change that, I'm just going to triple check that is downgraded, because yes, that has been downgraded back. So we're switching back to this scene. So I believe that was our second tornado of the day. According to Chasers, we had a tornado back up here briefly, as it was warned right in here. The NWS never confirmed that warning, and I didn't see it, so I can't say if it was or wasn't, but Chasers said it was on the ground. And this one, obviously, they did confirm, and we saw multiple Chasers had a clear visual of a tornado ongoing. All right, so there you go. That's your new tornado warning, and it is for 82 people. 82 people in that new tornado warning. Also, that severe thunderstorm warning back out here in Northwest Texas has been allowed to expire. So if you're in that, if you were in that severe thunderstorm warning, you are safe to come out of your safe spot. If you did go in your safe spot for that warning, you're safe to come out. I advise not going outside yet. You know, you may still want to stay away from doors and windows a little longer, and don't go outside because there's still heavy rain and some lightning in the area. But if you were in your safe spot for that storm that was producing 70-mile-an-hour winds, you can see it died out very quickly. Formed quick, died quick. And that's kind of what we were thinking today. This stuff was not modeled very well at all on any model run. We were really just expecting some quick thunderstorms to fire and die for the next 3 to 5 hours. Not really, we're not expecting something to sustain like what we've seen here with this supercell. Was not. Really was not. Gracious. It's been a while since I've done coverage, y'all. I'm sorry. It's been a long time since I've done coverage. I'm used to 1 hour briefing. That's it. HREF had this scenario. Isn't that model run being like retired next year? I don't even know how to look at that model run. I don't even know how to look at that model at all. The RRFSA at least had storms firing sooner than the HRRR. The HRRR did horrible today. Per usual. I mean, let's be honest. No one really expected the HRRR to perform well. I do still think we could see a couple tornadoes later today. Or rather, my bad. I do still think we could see another tornado or two with a couple of severe storms later on today. Mainly, let's see. Go back over to mesanalysis. It's going to depend. It's going to depend because these storms are taking up a lot of Cape. this area that this storm's at, this would have the best chance for thunderstorms later tonight. So if we do see a chance for a few more tornadoes, I feel like it would be in this region. Maybe a little bit south. Maybe closer to this area here. That would be our best shot for additional severe storms and a tornado chance later tonight after midnight. I think we'll see more storms after these storms roll through. And those other cells, the second, I don't know, second wave, whatever you'd like to call it, second wave, those will likely produce the same hazards. Tornado risk is just going to be a 50-50, really. If we can get another discrete storm like this tonight, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be tornadic. Especially as those temps go down. All right, let's go back to our Oklahoma radar site here. These storms are still producing up to 60-mile-an-hour winds and 1-inch hail. This one is very electric. Very, very electric thunderstorm east of, Hazleton. East of Hazleton in south central Kansas. Very electric. That's why you need to stay away from doors and windows and make sure you're indoors. Yeah, storm motion today is mainly to the south. Really to the south. That was your main storm motion today. You could see these storms right here that formed. They were mainly moving to the southeast. But they formed so fast. Like this big cluster here was trying to move southeast. But a few of it split off and moved dead east. This storm is moving off to the south. This storm's moving off to the south. This storm's moving a little bit more southeast. This storm's moving due south. This cell over here in Texas was moving southeast till it died off very quickly. And then, like I said, this is trying to move southeast, but it has cell mergers that are moving more east right now. So the main storm mode today is south-southeast. And we could even see some models showed this storm starting to move more southwest. Which it actually is right now. Look at that. It is actually moving more southwest now. For sure moving more southwest. So this storm's likely going to become a big hailer. And still could see an isolated tornado out of it. But the tornado threat should be going down with this storm now. I say that as it starts to get more clustered and it looks a lot worse now. So hopefully we continue with this look. But I think we'll have a chance for another storm exactly like this later tonight, where we could see another storm fire in a pretty good environment, be discreet, and have a good chance of producing a tornado. No, it will not become a line. Today's event is really discreet to messy clustered mode. A lot of these storms are going to form, produce hail, brief spin-up tornado being possible, and 60 to 70 mile an hour winds. And then within an hour or two, they're going to die. A lot of these storms are kind of like pop-ups. That's what we were expecting, at least, is more pop-up thunderstorms. Like the one here in Texas where we saw 70 mile an hour winds, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, 60 mile an hour winds, dead. That's what we were anticipating today. This little cell split here could be an example too, where it forms, splits off 60 mile an hour winds, and then that dies. But now we're getting a new cluster forming in this cluster that's trying to be severe. And you can see this one formed, died. This one, some of these are managing to sustain, which is a little bit surprising. This one's on a weakening trend, but it's still trying to produce severe characteristics. So some of these storms are going to sustain for a few hours. Others are just going to pop up and die in the matter of an hour. The amount of storm chasers on that supercell is wild. Yep, that's because it was the only one that was really sustaining. That was a guaranteed you're going to see something if you go here. So that's where everyone went. Tornado warning did just get extended for another 45 minutes. A little surprised with that. But if we do see another tornado out of this storm, it's likely going to be in this red box you see here. So make sure you get to your safe spot if you're in that new tornado warning. That is for our most populated tornado warning of the day by a milestone. 1,295 people in that new warning. 2 schools, no hospitals. Very populated warning right there. But again, I do think this storm's starting to go more hail dominant. So hopefully that tornado threat continues to decrease here. But unfortunately, we are losing our radar sight now. We've gotten really, really far. Just to show you here. Oh, there you go. We are about 60 some miles. About 60, 65 miles from our radar site now. Yep, 62 miles there. So we are getting really far to the point where this radar is not going to be accurate anymore. It is far from a accurate radar site now. Okay. Yeah, so we also just lost this severe warning. So at least it was. Wait, now I'm confused because this literally said it expired. But now it's there. No, it is gone. Okay. It's like, what? It is gone, but weather-wise... Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about with the delayed warnings there. There you go. So that severe warning is gone. Just like I thought. So no severe there. Still 2 severe storms here. And then our 2 main storms. I say main very lightly. Really, we only have 1 main storm at this point. This one's really trying to intensify, but it's not doing too well. This is our main storm. This one is trying to strengthen, but it's actually just ended up weakening in the process. This has turned into more of a wind threat. Definitely a wind threat. Very electric thunderstorm there. And then I don't know what this thing's doing, but it doesn't look like it's too healthy. So I'd say our 2 primary concerns right now, definitely by far this storm. And then also this guy. Might be a bit of a shocker to you, but if we loop this here, this kind of outflow dominant characteristic where you have a sharp cutoff like that, and it's a very fast moving storm, very electric, these can produce very damaging winds. And you can see that from velocities. Velocity definitely correlates. This has 40 to 45 mile per hour winds. However, velocities aren't always accurate. I've seen velocity, say 20 mile an hour winds, and all of a sudden we get a report of 90 under those same pixels. So velocities are not very, very accurate. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is producing closer to 60, 65 mile an hour winds as opposed to the 40 that velocity says. So just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows, especially if you're downstream of this storm. That severe thunderstorm warning, 60 mile an hour winds, they just continued for 60 mile an hour winds, 1-inch hail for the next 26 minutes. Like I said, could see gusts as high as 65 with this. It wouldn't surprise me with that more outflow dominant, fast moving characteristics with this storm. This guy still, I believe this guy is mainly a hail dominant storm, but I think it's losing some of its intensity for hail as well. It is getting that back a little bit more now that I say that. I mean, it still probably is dropping near 2-inch in diameter hail in this area. So if you're in Roaston, still don't know how to pronounce that one, Oklahoma, just make sure you're in your safe spot because this storm's capable of producing 70-mile-an-hour winds, 2-inch hail, and a tornado. Oh, man. 90s for the East Coast next week? No. No, I've been enjoying my nice temperatures. I'm gonna have to do a lot of stuff tomorrow then because the high is like mid-70s. Wednesday, the high is mid-70s. No, Thursday, mid-80s. Man. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's going to get rough next week. Whoo. Ooh. The Central Plains are going to be baking next Tuesday. Wow. Depending on where that high pressure is, somebody's going to get at least a chance for 100-degree temperatures next Tuesday. Could be much of the central U.S. or it could just be a localized area in the southern U.S. Depends on where that high pressure is. Yikes. All right, well, we can't see this as good anymore from radar. I know I said I wasn't going to go over tropics with an active tornado warning, but I didn't expect them to continue this one because I don't really see any good rotation with it over the last few frames, and now it's gotten too far to even see if it's rotating. So, just make sure you're in your safe spot just in case, right? It doesn't look as tornadic from chaser feeds. It looks a lot more hail dominant and a lot more. Still definitely some rotation. Still definitely some rotation, but it doesn't look as organized for rotation. It's definitely still got some spin to it. By Lake Michigan, let me see. For the weekend, you say. So Friday, so out from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it's closer to 80 degrees. Hold on, I want to look at this. Yeah, so it depends on which side you are. If you're towards the Chicago side of things, Chicago could be into the mid to upper 80s on Friday. Back towards East Central Wisconsin, high 70s, low 80s. West Central Michigan, mid 80s. That's your temps on Friday. Saturday, Eastern Wisconsin, mid 70s. Chicago, mid 80s. West Central Michigan, probably into the low to mid 80s for Saturday. And then Sunday will probably be the hottest for Michigan. So it looks like your coolest day is probably Saturday in Western Michigan. That looks to be your coolest day. But now that's just a guess. Like out here in Virginia, the high was like the low 80s and it ended up being almost 90. So hopefully those temps don't overperform. But yeah, I do want to talk about the tropics here. Just for a moment. And by a moment, I mean a very brief moment. Early next week in southern Indiana. That's probably going to be... There's a 50-50 on that. Either it's going to be really nice and you're going to be in the low 70s for much of early next week. Or you could be into the low 80s. So we'll go in the middle. Probably to the mid to upper 70s early next week for you. Ooh. That heat wave could reach Indiana. We'll have to keep an eye on the models. If that heat wave reaches Indiana, you could be talking into the 90s. Not fun. It just depends. A lot of variety on these models. So we're going to have a high pressure, and it depends where the high pressure is. If the high pressure is up here, that could help decrease your temperatures out for Indiana. But if your high pressure ends up, say, back up here, then that means your high pressure is not going to be much of an influence for those temperatures, and then you could get up into the 90s for Indiana. But hopefully it's closer to those 70s. Really, it's a 50-50 shot. Same for out here in Virginia. In my neck of the woods, it could either be mid-70s or literally low 90s next Monday, so a week from today. Stupid browser thing, top left, decided to disappear again. There we go. So here is something that is not normal. The big arrows that you see on YouTube that say not normal, extremely rare, historic. Yeah, this is one of those big arrows saying not normal. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days. That is something that we haven't seen since even before the NHC started graphics in 2009. 2009 was one of the first years the NHC used graphics on their website. 2009, this day 2009, we had tropical activity, and from 2009 all the way to 2024, every single September 8th from 2009 all the way to 2024 had some form of tropical activity. And most had a named storm or even a hurricane during the day of September 8th. And this is the only graphic for September 8th from the NHC that does not have tropical cyclone activity. Now, they did text before that. They didn't put it into a graphic. They wrote out text and put it onto maybe a site or something. I don't exactly know. And that was what they did from, before 2009. So back from when the NHC was founded all the way to 2008's hurricane season, they were typing out the tropical activity, not typing and making graphics for it. And from what I saw, 2003, I think it was about 2003, there was a lot less tropical activity. I think there was still an area to watch, possibly, but I think 2003 was the least active September 8th, aside from this in the last, 23 years. So, the definitely, I could tell you this for sure, it is definitely the least active September 8th since the NHC began graphics in 2009. And I think it's the least active September 8th ever since 2003, I believe. I don't know for sure about that 2003 one because that's just off of someone I trust on Twitter. And so they could be wrong. I don't know for sure. So that one's based off of Twitter. 2003 one, that's based off of Twitter. But I can tell you for a fact, this is the least active September 8th since, they started these graphics in 2009. Which is insane. Absolutely crazy. Very crazy. And I don't know if this is going to last too much longer. We are watching an area of convection right in here. And it looks, some models take it into the Caribbean and then eventually towards the Gulf, while some models just destroy it over Central America. But I do think we need to keep an eye on a little area of convection near Barbados as that goes west towards the Central Caribbean and maybe near the Gulf. But right now, that's too much uncertainty for the NHC to mark an area of interest on. I think the best chance for tropical formation in the next 7 days, like I said, we're watching that little blob there south of Barbados. But the best chance for tropical formation is probably off the coastline of Africa. Probably off the coastline of Africa. This area and this area. Those are the two areas I'm going to be watching over the next 7 days. but neither one of them look very good at the moment. So I'll just keep you guys updated on it. And if anything big happens, we'll spark up a stream. But after this live stream, I don't know what is happening next. I don't know when I'm going to be doing a video or a live stream next, because it's just there's so little activity after today. I mean, we are more inactive than winter. At least in winter, I can talk about Arctic blast and some snow and maybe a chance for severe weather. Right now, there's nothing in the tropics. There's one slight risk today. There's nothing beyond today. There's no hurricanes. There's no snowstorms. There's no severe weather beyond today. And it's just like, uh, I could talk about hot temperatures, but that's about it. That's about it. That's about all I could talk about. And I'm not sure about you, but I can't really talk about hot temperatures for an entire 60 minutes. So I believe this is the storm Sam was pointing out, saying potentially rotating supercell south of Dodge City. And they just went considerable for it, so it's now a severe thunderstorm warning for 2-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Definitely a hail threat. Definitely a hail threat, that is for sure. I don't see any good rotation by any means, but it could try to rotate in the future. You could see that cell merge is really what helped get that supercell look going. So definitely big time hail, 2-inch in diameter, possible. 60-mile-an-hour winds, definitely possible. And we'll have to see about something tornadic. I could tell you the number one thing I'm going to be watching for that is this boundary. If that boundary surges too far ahead, this sucker's going completely outflow dominant, and you won't have to worry about a tornado threat for probably the entire supercell's lifespan. But if that boundary stays attached to this little area here, that could aid in tornado genesis. So we want to watch that very closely. Definitely hail, damaging winds, and it could begin to rotate in the future. That is a weird severe warning. New severe thunderstorm warning here because this storm's moving to the south-southwest. That's for 2-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds, and not a torr possible severe. They did extend this severe too. This is now a significant severe for 70-mile-an-hour winds and 1.75-inch hail. So actually significant for both of those hazards. This storm may be losing a bit of its winds, but, I mean, you could see, I don't know, the Boeing characteristic. I still think this is capable of 60 to 65 mile per hour winds here as it moves off to the southeast. Big time wind maker there. Could also get some hailstones up to about inch and a half in diameter there. And a very frequent lightning, very heavy rain, very gusty winds. Also, this guy really intensified. Look at that. So this was the one I was mentioning that it was starting to die off and it was weakening. But newfound hope, it just decided to really intensify here. So just like with this storm back out south of Dodge City, Kansas, big time hail, 2-inch in diameter, 60-mile-an-hour winds. And I don't think this has as good of a chance for a tornado, but could still have a chance to rotate as it moves off to the southeast. So we just went from one storm to watch to 4 or 5. We're watching this one significant, this one significant, this one significant, and then our main one still significant, and also this one too, because I really do think that could be producing quite the amount of damaging winds as it moves to the southeast. And then this one doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look as bad as what it was before, but still on a weakening trend there. So a lot of these storms are trying to intensify, from what I can tell. Supercell Outbreak. We got like 4 or 5 of them now. Yeah, they are definitely elevated. I don't know if we're going to be seeing a second round now. The reason I say that is because all these storms have fired and they're going to be taking up the environment. So I doubt we'll be seeing a good second round tonight. I mean, these storms really weren't expected to pop off till about 8 or 9 tonight, Eastern time. And what, they started at 5? Yeah, 5. So, like, these were about 4-5 hours early, according to the models. Early thunderstorms. I think we would have had a better tornado threat if they fired later. If they fired closer to now, 7, 8 o'clock, and then they were mature towards 8, 9 o'clock, that would have produced a better tornado threat. So, thankfully, they fired early. But that does mean more hail fired in the middle of the day. That allowed for a peak instability. Really good hail threat. I did not see that. The tornado warning is for 3-inch hail. This is now a PDS destructive severe again. Just got upgraded for 3-inch hail. So if you are in the red or the orange area, you need to make sure you're in your safe spot. That red polygon, that means a tornado is imminent or possibly even on the ground. And 3-inch hail is possible in the red polygon as well. If you're in that orange polygon, just the orange polygon, not the red one, just the orange polygon, that is where 60 to 70 mile an hour winds and 3-inch hail will be possible. Is that warned for 70? Yeah, it is warned for 70. 70 mile an hour winds, 3-inch hail possible in that orange polygon. So either way, you need to be seeking shelter. If you're in the orange or the red polygon, you need to be seeking shelter. Yeah, today was a boom or bust type of day, and it definitely chose the boom. That is for sure. I put a graphic up on Twitter saying it was a boom or bust day, and it definitely went with the boom. That is for sure. Whoa, I did not see those reports. 2 4-inch hail reports from earlier. That's when it was warned for 2.5-inch hail. So remember when I was discussing that classic split updraft? That split updraft, and it had that sharp cutoff on DBZ. That was towards the beginning of the live stream. And I said it was producing 2.5-inch hail, if not larger than that. It was actually producing 4-inch hail. 4-inch hail at that time. So we've seen at least two softballs today, if not multiple softballs, because it's probably not just going to be 2 softball-sized hailstones. It was likely multiple, considering the storm kept moving to the south, and we have 2 consistent hail reports of 4-inch in diameter hail there. Probably a couple softball-sized hail around and south of Ashland in southern Kansas, and then also a few 2.5 to 3-inch hailstones with this storm now in northwest Oklahoma. Let's see. Also, I think this storm is producing 2-inch hail or greater than 2-inch hail. Somewhere around 2 or a little larger than 2-inch in diameter hail here to the east of Coldwater in southern Kansas. Let's see. Good morning, Caleb. Glad to see you in here. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it looks like this is ramping up quickly. That is really, really ramped up over the last few frames here. You can see a hook echoes poked out over the last few frames. Yeah, I do think this supercell is ramping up again, tornadic wise. Yeah, you can see that alpha boundary on velocity as well. I don't think it's aiding much in tornado genesis at the moment. The storm don't look so good tornado wise. Still could be some hail up to 2-inch in diameter, and like I said, I think this one is 2-inch or greater hailstones with this cell near Deer Head. And then again, 60-mile-an-hour winds with this very outflow dominant, pretty strong storm. You can see the winds are starting to get even stronger, pushing this storm, giving it that bowing shape. I still don't know what this thing's doing. I think it's starting to die out at that point. They're likely going to just let that severe expire. And this is actually strengthened even further. 2.5-inch hail falling with this storm, just barely east of Perryton, Texas, and also still the 70-mile-per-hour wind threat with that. Yeah, this is likely ramping up, like I said, probably trying to get some stronger rotation, attempting to produce a tornado here. Yeah, that hook echo looks better. Now, again, the rotation, we can look at velocities, but just it's far. So just remember it's far and it's likely inaccurate. I really don't know what made these storms fire early, but all it took for me to know today was going to do something was see the Cape level. When I saw Cape was almost at 5,000 at 3, 4 o'clock, I was like, yep, today's definitely going to do something. But I didn't expect it to do it at 6:30. I thought it was definitely going to be closer to like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, my time. But, I mean, that's the thing with the weather. The weather doesn't care what model runs say, it just does what it wants to. We saw that with 91L. Man, you don't see stuff like that often at all. 91L was a huge flop. I was expecting that to be a tropical storm, possibly even a hurricane. And then at one point, it started to look like a major hurricane was getting even more on table. And then dry air just absolutely destroyed it. Just demolished it. Pushed it too far south, and then it went away from the best environment and died out. That was crazy. That it is not often you see a storm just vanish off of all the models like that. In the matter of 48 hours. It's crazy because that thing literally, like at one point it was up here on the models, possible tropical storm up here on the models. Then it moved to tropical storm hurricane possible here. And then maybe even a major hurricane being possible here as it moves to the northwest. And then it started shifting very far south, close to Barbados. And then once it started shifting even further south than that, like once models started to trend in this area, yeah, that's when everything started to flop and then it just died out. And that was crazy. I mean, it trended from up here to down here in 4 days. Not only that, the intensity fluctuations, like it went from tropical storm possible, hurricane, tropical storm possible, maybe even a major hurricane, some were saying at this point, and then tropical storm, and then literally nothing. Like that's how the intensity went from a low end system to, okay, this could be a bit of an issue, to, okay, this could be a big issue, to, yeah, this completely fell apart. All that in like 3 to 4 days on the model runs. And, I mean, the wind shear wasn't even that bad either. Like, we had 10-knot wind shear. The dry air shouldn't have been an issue. It's just the fact it couldn't get a good low pressure, and then the system just ingested all that dry air and RIP. died out fast. It says it expired. I don't... Okay, I guess this Destructive Severe just expired. I feel like this is either going to be reissued now or reissued now. We'll see. Yeah. AccuWeather. Yeah. You shouldn't put out cones before the NHC. That's just there's a reason why the NHC has a process to things. There's a reason they don't put cones out for invests. The only time they do that is if it is 2 days before a tropical landfall, a tropical storm or a hurricane makes landfall, and it hasn't yet formed, and that's when they deem it a potential tropical cyclone. It gets upgraded from invest to potential tropical cyclone, and then most of the time, yeah, it could be like 9. It just depends. I forgot how they do it. At first I thought they take like the first number of the invest, like if it's 91L, they'll name it potential tropical cyclone 9, but then I realized there's no invest that go before 90L. The NHC does 90. Why do they do that? Why do they do that? Why do they do 90 through 99? That's what they have for invest. 90 through 99. They don't have any other numbers for invest. So the first thing, if you don't know, so obviously we have AOIs, right? From the NHC. They designate 10%, 30%, 90%, 100%, whatever they want. And then the step, as that's an AOI and it's about to form a good low pressure, or maybe it's already formed a good low pressure, you'll start to see like the probability begin to increase on the AOI in the 2-day time frame. So at first it's like maybe for 91L, it was like a 30%, 90%, then it went 50%, 90%, and then once it hit 50%, they deemed it an invest because the system was starting to get a good low pressure. So then it was invest. And at that point, if you have a invest or a system that looks like it's about to hit land 48 to 72 hours before it forms, they'll deem it a potential tropical cyclone. I know it can get confusing. It's a lot easier to explain it when there's actually a system you're tracking. Let's see here. But basically, all you need to know is the NHC, they don't issue cones for invest for a reason. And that's what AccuWeather did. They did it last year too, and boy oh boy did they ever find out. The crazy thing is they got absolutely flamed for it last year, and then they did it again this year. It's like, dude, you made a mistake once, you got absolutely flamed for it, and then you went next year and you did it again. You did it again. You didn't show any signs of improvement. It's like, come on. Now, they're still meteorologists, and, they know more about the weather than I probably ever will, but I don't think you should be going completely against the NHC like that. Like the outlooks I do on Twitter, a lot of the times they are in very good alignment with the SPC, and I don't make them... Yeah, I don't make them that often, and I definitely don't make them like 2 weeks out. I really use it as as trying to improve on forecasting. Now I have made one like 10 days out, but it's different. I just outline a large area and say potential for severe weather in like a week or two. But yeah, that actually ended up going very well. I've been checking the verification of my forecast, and like unfortunately, I think I'm at 4 now. 4 complete underperformances on my forecasts. So, but hey, Not too bad considering I've made like 30. Maybe even more at this point. And it's all about just trying to get better. But the thing is, like, once you're I tweeted that before too. You got to try to find. There's a line between just being completely, just misinformation and trying to get better at forecasting. If I went towards, say, like today, right? For my outlook that I did today, if I went and said, multiple strong tornadoes possible, 6-inch hail, and 90-mile-an-hour winds possible, and the setup is exactly what we're dealing with now, that is blatant misinformation, right? That is complete and utter garbage, misinformation, completely wrong on the hazards. But my actual forecast was 3-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds, and a tornado. And that performed very well today. Very, very well. And so that's like, you got to find that line. Okay, I just want to check the velocities on that real quick. For like, I'll use AccuWeather as an example. I don't have anything against them. I mean, I don't like the fact that they're doing cones the way they are, but hey, the NHC says tropical depression likely. And what do they go for? Category 2 hurricane a week out. That's an issue. When you're forecasting something a week out, that's bad. That is bad. You do not want to do that. Like, for my outlooks, like I said, typically mine are day 1, day 2 ordeal. And if it's anything further than that, it's pattern recognition. Theirs was calling for a Cat 2 like a week out. That's bad. You don't do that. That is going to change a lot. And then just completely flopped. So just, you got to learn. And I thought they learned from, their thing last year. What was it? Were they calling for like a major hurricane to hit Florida a week out? And then it ended up being a tropical storm in the Southwest Gulf, and it didn't even get near Florida. I remember that. I forgot if it was Cat 2 or Cat 3, but I remember them talking about it. I can't tell if this thing's about to wrap up or not. Ramp up. If it's about to ramp up on this chaser feed, because there's just dust everywhere. There's just dust absolutely everywhere. But yeah, I'm probably going to conclude here. Honestly, storms are starting to get in a radar hole here. All these storms are getting, if not already, in a radar hole. And then this storm's dying out. This storm's dying out. And that's it. So I'll still watch it off a stream, but I'm probably going to head off here. I just want to do a good 2-hour live stream with you guys because, well, we did just get another tornado warning in Perryton, Texas, but I can't exactly track that, so. Yep, there you go. Tornado warning in Perryton, Texas. Well, now we have 2 tornado warnings, so now I'm deciding to go longer or not. You know what? I hate to do it, but I am going to end because I do have stuff I got to do. I hate to do it, but I am going to do it. So I'll keep an eye on it. If it looks like it's going to pop off even further, or maybe there's a strong tornado and I'm paying attention, I'll go live for it. But I can't promise. If there's a PDS tornado warning, I cannot promise I'm going to be here because my computer may be completely off and I may miss it. So just, if you are anywhere in this area, make sure you are hyper weather aware. If you're in the severe thunderstorm warnings, seek shelter, stay away from doors and windows. If you're in the tornado warnings, get to your safe spot. Hopefully you know the ordeal by now. And these storms, so yeah, 3-inch hail. I mean, they're still going to be producing some very significant severe weather. Now that's warned for 80-mile-an-hour winds. Well, dang. Oh, man. If this wasn't in a radar hole, I would for sure stay. I would for sure stay if this was not in a radar hole. but that just completely ruins tracking when you're in a good radar hole like this. So please stay weather aware. These storms are now very much capable of 3 to 4 inch hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds, and a tornado or two will all be possible with particularly these two storms here in this area. So please watch that very, very, very closely. These storms, this is destructive as well. This is now PDS severe for 2.75-inch hail observed. So make sure you're in your safe spot there as well. 2.75-inch hail is destructive. So if you're in a destructive severe warning, you should be at least be indoors, away from doors and windows. If not, you need to be in your safe spot because it's either destructive for wind, hail, maybe even both. In this case, it is just for hail. So you need to make sure you are preferably in your safe spot there. Yeah, man, it doesn't seem like this stuff's going to be calming down at all. What in the world? This stuff is a big overperformance. Yeah, new tornado warning there for the next hour for 3-inch hail. Let me see what this has. Man. I guess I will stay live for another hour. I don't know. Such a hard decision. I guess I'm going to do it. I guess I'll do it. The thing is, it's just not really good radar coverage. It's just really not good radar coverage, so I can't do a good analysis on anything. EPAC went up to high, yeah. Yeah, that's probably going to be at least a tropical storm, but I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up making a run at major hurricane status. I haven't looked at too many runs for it, but the ones I've seen have been very aggressive. Yeah, that's probably going to be a major hurricane in the EPAC. And I think it will stay away from land. It's going to be close to land as a tropical storm, but as it becomes a hurricane, probably sometime very late this week or this weekend, it's going to be moving further from land. There we go. Yeah, so again, if you are in any of the red or orange polygons, make sure you're in your safe spot. Let's see. Yeah, this one is destructive, like I said. Big time hail. I don't think this has too much of a tornado threat at the moment. Velocities did ramp up just a little bit on that news scan, so we'll keep an eye on it. And now there's plenty of warnings. We're up to 3 destructive severes and 3 tornado warnings. 2 other significant severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are considerable. So we have 3-inch hail ongoing here in this orange polygon with a tornado trying its best to drop. Same ordeal here. 3-inch hail ongoing with this storm with a tornado trying to drop. Then we have 2.75-inch hail ongoing with this storm in southern Kansas. It looks like rotation might be attempting to ramp up, but we are far from the radar, so I'm not confident in that. We'll go back to weather-wise again. I wonder what made them warn this storm. I really would want to know. I guess, I mean, I feel like someone would have to have a visual of something in order for them to warn that, because to me, that just seems like a big hailer. And that's it. Big hailer and isolated 50, 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. Well, actually, never mind. They have it up for 70-mile-an-hour winds. Jeez. So 70-mile-an-hour winds, tornado warning, and 3-inch hail. I don't think this environment, yeah, this environment is not supportive for tornadoes at all out here in Northeast Texas. So I think the main threat with this by far is hail, 3-inch hail. And then we could see a brief tornado as well as 70-mile-an-hour winds. Either way, if you're in either one of these polygons here, this yellow one or this red one, you need to be in your safe spot. And this is also warned for 80-mile-an-hour winds, 3-inch hail, and the potential of a tornado. As well as obviously those tornado warnings themselves, which there's now just one. So this tornado warning up here is no longer in effect. That's no longer in effect. This one still is. You'll see it expire. Let's see if I can try to refresh it there. Nope. I'll go over here. There you go. So we have this one tornado warning here, south of Roston, northwest Oklahoma. And then this one here, which, like I said, a little confused why they warned that. I feel like they must have gotten a report or a visual of the storm that looks tornadic, or someone mentioned like a wall cloud or something with it. And that's why they warned it. Because from radar, you ain't going to be able to see a thing. And then this storm already produced 1 or 2 tornadoes, and it looks like it's still tornadic, so they're continuing that. Just because this storm is not only in a good environment, but because it also has a history of producing tornadoes. At least 1 tornado, but maybe 2. Yeah, they did get rid of that severe thunderstorm warning there for North Enid, Oklahoma. Not surprised by that. Ben, yeah, that's always been a bad one. This has always been a bad radar hole because for Oklahoma events, this is where your thunderstorms fire. Dry lines are pretty frequent. We typically see at least one, if not well more than one dry line event in this area every single year. I think we see probably closer to 2-3 dry line events and close to 10 actual events, mainly from cold fronts in this area. I mean, 2024, I can remember just right away 3 or 4 memorable ones that produced strong to intense tornadoes. And in this year, I know we already had at least 2 dry line setups in this area, and we've had multiple other events in this region. And you can see it's a good radar hole because radar, 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 and radar. There is no radar anywhere in this area. Oop. Missed you. Radar. I was like, I feel like there's one more. There's no way it's that large. Yeah, so this area right here, no radars. Now, I get southeast Colorado and the western panhandle. I get this area. This area is mountains, so any radars in this area, they're not going to be scanning very well. They're going to have a lot of terrain interference, elevation interference. So it makes sense on why they don't have a radar this far west. But really, I do think we need a radar site out over here. I really do think we need a radar site in the north, somewhere in probably here, in my opinion, really. I think that'd be like a perfect spot for one. Somewhere generally in this area. But we have plenty of radar holes. That's just a problem we're probably always going to have here in the US. But at least we have a lot of radars. You can never have too many radars, but at least we have a lot of radars. You just got to remember that we have more radars than any other country, and it's not even close. I mean, look at all these radars we got. So many here. Woodward? Yeah, Woodward would be really good. Maybe a little bit more to the southwest. Like the southwest side of Woodward, or right around there. So that's still 2-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. This did get So this one's still destructive for 2.75-inch hail, but the extension got downgraded to 2-inch hail. Yeah, model guidance did not support an enhanced risk at all. This is overperforming by far. For instance, CSU, which is another product we like to use, that had a 0.2% tornado risk, not in Oklahoma or Texas, in northern Kansas, apparently, had a 0.2% tornado risk. It had a 15% hail risk out here and a 13% wind risk. So this is like CSU did terrible. CSU did absolutely awful. The SPC did really good for the guidance that we had. I mean, they nailed the 2%. They nailed the 15 sig hail threat. And definitely could have used an upgrade on the wind threat, but yeah, I don't really know why they didn't go slight risk for wind. I'm not really too sure on that. From the get-go, I thought they did. If you were here early in the live stream, you would have actually noticed I put 70-mile-per-hour winds in the title, but then actually took it out, put it back down to 60, because at the time when I made the live stream, I thought it was a slight risk for wind and hail, but it was only for hail. Why have models been so bad lately? Because they're models and they're horrible. Well, today was a mesoscale day. And models like the HRRR, especially out here towards western Oklahoma, southwest Kansas, northern Texas, HRRR never does good in the plains, in the western plains, or the high plains, or Dixie Alley. The only place the HRRR is, like, good at, in my opinion, like, typically the HRRR seems to be more... It seems to be a bit better towards the Midwest and the central U.S. When you're in the plains, the western plains and Dixie Alley seems to be where the HRRR really struggles. West Plains, Dixie Alley. Which we're in the West Plains here. Like, this is the West Plains to me. Right up in here. That's where the HRRR struggles a lot with. The West Plains, and then especially Dixie Alley down in here. Really struggles with those two areas. Elsewhere, it seems to do good, but not great. We do have 2 random severes now in Nebraska for this storm. 1.5-inch hail observed and 60-mile-per-hour winds radar indicated for this storm in... Okay, is this Valentine? Valentine in north-central Nebraska. Or is it actually Valentine? Valentine. If you're there, if you're from that area, you know exactly what I'm saying. Valentine, Nebraska. Just make sure you're indoors, away from doors and windows. Valentine, Valentine. One or the other. Valentine. You can still pronounce that either way, Ben. Valentine, Valentine. Either the way you type that, you can still pronounce it both ways. Valentine. Okay. Oklahoma tornado warning is giant lowering. It does not surprise me. That storm keeps looking better and better. It's very much slowed down. It's struggling. The north side of it, this portion of it, is struggling with cell mergers from what I could tell. It's really not having a fun time on this portion of the storm. But in this area here, it still is a supercell right in here. But it's gotten a lot smaller. So it's still capable of 3-inch hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds, and a tornado. Still very high-end hazards, especially for a slight risk. Very high-end hazards. Again, I really don't know why they issued a tornado warning here. I feel like they got something that I didn't see, a report or a live feed or something near Perryton, Texas, to issue that tornado warning, because velocities and using radar, just not able to see much. So we're gonna keep watching this storm too. Just make sure you're in your safe spot. Even though I'm not sure what they saw to issue that warning, they issued it, and that means go to your safe spot. I do that a lot. I end up questioning like why they issue warnings, but I want to make it clear, no matter what radar looks like, no matter how bad it looks like, you need to be in your safe spot. Don't rely off of radar to tell you to get to your safe spot. If there's a warning, get to your safe spot. And sometimes, like, yeah, there will be storms that don't have warnings that look pretty rough. And in that case, better safe than sorry, right? Like, if there's a storm that looks like it's dropping hail, um, you probably just want to, be indoors just in case, even though there may not be a warning on it. Also, I did just click on that and I saw that we just got another 3-inch hail report. Publix reported a 3-inch hailstone at 6:43 Central. Dude, that was like freaking 30 minutes ago. 28 minutes ago? I think, if I'm doing my math right, 28 minutes ago we got that report. A little late there on the upgrade, not gonna lie. A little late on the upgrade. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna screenshot this. There we go. There we go. The 3-inch hail is a very popular thing today. Sure is. It sure is. This is the most this is the most destructive severes I've seen on a slight risk in a very long time. This is not something you see often at all. This 3-inch hail here, 3-inch hail here, 3-inch hail here. Oh, 80-mile-an-hour winds with this one too, by the way. And 2.75-inch hail here. And I don't know if I can turn on the slight risk from this vantage point. I don't know if it's going to work. Nope. Yeah, so I'll go back over here. I mean, they did pretty good with that risk. But this storm was definitely a little bit east. We had one destructive severe that was halfway in and halfway out of the 5%, or the 15%. Half in the 5%, half in the 15 hatched. I still think they did really well. I would have been surprised to see them pull the enhanced risk trigger because model guidance was all over the place this morning. Yeah, we also had 2 4-inch hail reports. And then 2.75-inch hail here. Public reported 3-inch hail up here. It just hasn't registered on our end yet. And then 2.75-inch hail here. Man. No, I think the SPC did great. I think the SPC did great. Like, now you could say, yeah, this needed to be a 30 hatch hail risk, right? Now you can say that. But if you did what I had to do, which was in the afternoon, look at all the model runs, look at meso analysis, look at satellite, give a forecast and put it out. That's what I did on my end. And then I looked at the SPC, of course, to see what they were saying, because that's always a great idea. You would have said, okay, slight risk. Looks like a slight risk type day. It could either go boom or it could go complete bust. Today went kaboom. It exploded. Let's see here. I need to make a kaboom meter. I need to do it. I need to do it. It's something that sounds very fun. I need to do it. The thing is, I don't know how to base it. That's the problem. Like, I don't know what to base it off of. Like, how fast thunderstorms fire in the time frame of 30 minutes or an hour, or is it based off of categorical risks from the SPC, or like what exactly? Like today's, if I were to give today's kaboom risk, I would have probably put like a 7 or an 8. I probably would have done a 7. And it's a slight risk day. 7 out of 10 for today. Because things went from not even severe to just like destructive in the matter of 30 minutes. Apparently, one in Texas is on the ground. You got a chaser on it or something? That's the tornado warning that was surprising me because I'm like, what? Why'd they issue that? I couldn't see rotation on radar, and I'm like, and I didn't see any report either, so I was very, very confused on why they issued that tornado warning. But if there's a tornado, wow, really, really good job on the NWS's part there. So there may be a tornado on the ground, but I'm not for sure. If there is, get to your safe spot. If there's not, get to your safe spot. Either way, you need to be in your safe spot because you're in a tornado warning. So please be in your safe spot. There may or may not be a tornado on the ground. And that's why we, the saying is with a radar indicated tornado warning, a tornado is imminent or possibly even already on the ground. I've tried to explain that before. I'll explain it here too. In order for a tornado to be observed, it has to have already been on the ground for minutes. So you need to make sure that you're in your safe spot because, a tornado has to be, first it has to touch down, then it has to get reported. NWS has to verify that report, and preferably by multiple chasers or multiple sources. Then they have to go and upgrade the warning, and then they send it out to you. That process takes a couple minutes. It's not going to be an instant thing. Now, they can be fast sometimes. I've seen them do it in a minute, minute and a half for an upgrade, which is crazy fast. But sometimes it could take a much, much longer. So just want to be in your safe spot. If you're in a tornado warning, just be in your safe spot. That's the bottom line. All right. Now, really good news. This has just been very much downgraded. All the way from 3-inch hail and 80-mile-an-hour winds all the way down to 2-inch hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds. Now, you still want to be indoors, away from doors and windows, and very close to your safe spot if you're in the severe warning. If you're in the tornado warning, you still want to be in your safe spot because that still has the potential to produce a tornado or possibly may already be a tornado on the ground very close to the Highway 270 corridor, just barely to the south. Let's see. Just barely to the, we'll go with just barely to the west of May. Barely west of May. So just be in your safe spot. Tornado warning is in effect here for the corridor, the intersection there of Highway 283 and Highway 270. If there's a tornado, it would be west of that intersection. It would actually be closer to this area in here if there is a tornado ongoing. It would be much closer to this area. No confirmation from the NWS if that is a tornado ongoing or not from that in that tornado warned area. But again, either way, you want to be in your safe spot. Let's see. So also this severe thunderstorm warning is still observed for 3-inch hail and still 60-mile-an-hour winds being possible there. This got downgraded all the way from 2.75-inch hail all the way down to 1.25-inch hail. So you still want to be away from doors and windows, but this storm is weakening very rapidly if you're in between Alva and Freedom in northwest Oklahoma. This storm here in Hillsdale, Pond Creek, Jefferson, just barely southwest of Jefferson, Oklahoma now. Looks like it's on a weakening trend, but it is still capable of producing 1.25-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually 1.5-inch hail now. I wouldn't be surprised if they extend this severe thunderstorm warning, because I do still think that is capable of producing severe hail and severe winds. Again, I do apologize for the bit of rusty coverage. This is the first coverage we've done in literally almost 2 months on this channel. So I've definitely misspoke a lot. When was the last coverage? Oh my word. It wasn't 2 months ago. It was a month and 1 day ago. Yesterday was the 1 month mark since we did coverage on this channel. A month and 1 day. I thought it was, I don't know why I thought it was early July, because we had all those derechos and all the wind threats. Ever since August 7th. Dude. Going a month without covering anything, for those who follow this channel for a long time, you know how rare that is. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. It doesn't matter what month. We're always covering something that is impacting the U.S. Now, we did cover the hurricane, but that didn't directly hit the U.S. We had indirect impacts from that, and we didn't technically cover it. It was just briefings for it, right? Like, we only did briefings for it. We didn't really cover a good 2+ hours with the impacts in North Carolina. I mean, it's very rare. Normally, we are either covering something severe weather hitting the U.S., a hurricane hitting the U.S., a snowstorm hitting the U.S., something at least once a month. The tsunami coverage was before our severe weather coverage. The tsunami coverage was July 29th, and the last severe weather coverage, other than today, was August 7th. So we just broke our streak. That's probably the longest streak I've ever had in this channel without covering something happening in the U.S. Because if you look at all my thumbnails, you could see everything isn't directly hitting the U.S. over the last month and 1 day. Just wild. My voice is also not used to this, so I'm probably not going to be able to speak tomorrow. During tornado season, my voice is used to literally talking for almost 11 hours every day. But yeah, it looks like we're going to lose that tornado warning in 7 minutes, that in 21 minutes. We'll see if we're tornado warning less in 21 minutes. I don't know about that. Maybe. Fingers crossed. A little surprised they haven't... Oh, they did expand that severe. Gotcha. They just expanded it. So this just got downgraded to 2-inch hail now observed, no longer 3-inch hail. And this just got expanded for 1.5-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds for Enid, Oklahoma. Pretty sure that's a pretty populated city in Oklahoma. So make sure you guys are seeking shelter, at least indoors, away from doors and windows, if you're in Enid, Oklahoma. Also, another A second 80-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. A second 80-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. That is crazy. So make sure you're in your safe spot. There's so many polygons. Let me switch here. So if you're in the orange polygons, and if you're in the orange polygon, there's a chance you're in the red polygon. But if you're in any of those polygons you see in the middle of the screen, the orange or the red, make sure you're in your safe spot. The orange is for 3-inch hail and 80-mile-an-hour winds, and the red is for the potential of a tornado to drop at any moment or may already be on the ground, as well as 80-mile-per-hour winds and 3-inch hail. I know that's range folded, but I do got to go check a chaser. Let's see here. Holy mothership supercell. Yo, this thing looks insane. This thing looks absolutely insane in person. Yeah, that doesn't do it justice at all, but man. Yeah, if there's a tornado, it is fully rain wrapped. So there's no way to know if this thing is producing a tornado right now. So we got one that is completely rain wrapped in a radar hole. So there's no way we're going to be able to know if that's on the ground. And then the other one is just in the middle of nowhere in terms of radar coverage. And there's no shot we're going to know if that's on the ground or not, radar wise. Now, if we do get, there could be some people chasing this storm. The only thing is there wasn't a lot of people who targeted northeast Texas. A lot of people switched back over to this supercell. I know a lot of chasers targeted this one right here. So really the only way we're going to know if there's a tornado ongoing is if we got a chaser who's going to report it. Or the public. We get an SPC update here in 30 minutes, and honestly, wouldn't be surprised if they go enhanced. It wouldn't surprise me if they go enhanced. There's a 3.5-inch hail report that just came in from emergency management right there. So this is still producing very large hail. Let me see. Give me just a moment. All right, we're good. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is about to produce a tornado. It's definitely very, very close to producing a tornado. I wouldn't be shocked if it is. But this is range folding. Just that's a really good storm structure from this chaser. And also from radar perspective, that's really good. So this is very much capable of producing a tornado at any second. Storm structure of the year. I don't think we lived in the same year. Storm structure of the week. Yeah. Maybe storm structure. Yeah. Storm structure of the month so far. Yeah. New severe thunderstorm warning there. 2-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds, tornado possible tag for that new severe warning. I don't know if that's right. No, that's not right. Well, it's the same hazards, actually. 2-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds, tornado possible tag. All right, all three of these storms look to be weakening. But they are all three of them are still capable of large hail and damaging winds. So we're going to need to watch every last one of them. And if you're in any of them, make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows, and close to your safe spot. How much hail have we seen today? Reports 2.75 inch hail, 2.75 inch hail, 3.5 inch hail, 4-inch hail, 4-inch hail, 3-inch hail. Those were our main reports I saw. 4-inch hail was the max hailstone so far. Which the NWS had max hailstone at 2.5. So that shows you how much of an overperformance this was. The absolute largest hailstone possible today was 2.5. The most likely was 2-inch hail. Most likely the max hailstone would be 2-inch hail, but the absolute highest 2.5. And we had 2 4-inch hailstones, at least 2. And then we had at least 2 other 3-inch hailstones. All right, way better for you to see this now. So this is a severe for 1.5 inch hail for Enid. Be indoors, away from doors and windows. You'll be fine. Same ordeal here. 1.5 inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds, away from doors and windows. That's in between Freedom and Alva, Oklahoma. South of Ashland, Kansas. 1-inch hail now, 60-mile-an-hour winds. That storm's almost completely dead at this point. Just stay away from doors and windows. You'll be fine. This severe, completely downgraded. Was originally 3-inch hail, 80-mile-an-hour winds, all the way down to 2-inch hail and 70-mile-an-hour winds now. Still want to be indoors, away from doors and windows. Want to be close to your safe spot, just in case. If it gets rough, go to your safe spot. Our last tornado warning in effect for 13 more minutes here. Make sure you are in your safe spot. This is actively trying to produce a tornado, and it's very rain-wrapped, so there may already be a tornado on the ground that we are unaware of. Out here back towards Texas, this storm has a history of producing 3 to 3.5 inch hail, and it is actively warned for 80-mile-an-hour winds and 3-inch hail for the next 57 minutes. Make sure you are in your safe spot if you're in that severe thunderstorm warning. It is no longer tornado warned. No longer tornado warned. And no longer tor possible either. So that's an update on all your storms. Except for these up here. We do have 3 up here. 2 for the same storm in Nebraska. One of those just expired, so now actually 1 here. 2-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. That's a significant severe. If you do live in this area along the Highway 83 corridor, make sure you are indoors, away from doors and windows, close to your safe spot. If it gets a bit rough, go to your safe spot. Better safe than sorry. And then some random severe way up here in southern South Dakota for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Just stay away from doors and windows. You'll be fine. Oh yeah, that thankfully this tropical storm, still a hurricane, but about to be downgraded to a tropical storm tonight into tomorrow morning. Thankfully, we'll stay north of Hawaii. Any impacts are expected to be very minimal. Probably won't even get much rain in Hawaii. Most likely the main thing will be rip currents and high waves. No direct tropical impacts there. Not expecting any warnings to be issued. All right, just got a new MCD here. See what that says. Scattered large hail threat persists. Okay, so why is the hail threat 1.5 to 2.5 inch hail if we've got warnings for 3-inch hail? And the wind threat is 60-mile-an-hour winds, but we've got a severe for 80-mile-an-hour winds. Hello? Could someone, Make sense here? Can it like correlate? SPC says max 2.5-inch hail, max around 60-mile-an-hour winds. And we literally have a severe warning for 3-inch hail and 80-mile-an-hour winds. Come on, bro. Scattered storms producing damaging hail may persist for several more hours in far northwest Oklahoma and the northeastern Texas Panhandle. Severe storms continue to produce large hail, some with a history of hail sizes around 2 to 3 inch in diameter. Continue to affect a very small portion of southwestern Kansas, northwest Oklahoma, into the northeast Texas Panhandle this evening. Isolated storm activity also extends into north central Oklahoma, though these storms are weaker and will likely begin to decrease in intensity as the increasing sun and cooler upstream surface temperatures. The more robust storms situated on a warm side of the Kansas outflow boundary and an extending southwestward near the surface thermal ridge are expected to have a greater longevity, as capping will be slower to increase there, and a modest lower level jet of up to 40 knots will continue to support mixing warmth, further supporting a corridor of persistent severe weather threats well into the evening and west of the larger capped area. Yeah, they don't have a tornado threat. No tornado threat. There's a tornado warning. I don't know what's up with that. What's up with that, dude? That's so strange. So we have the SPC says about 60-mile-an-hour winds for the worst winds, about 2.5-inch hail for the worst hail, and they don't mention a tornado threat. And we literally have a tornado warning, 3-inch hail, and 80-mile-an-hour winds. But we are going to start decreasing with the tornado threat. The hail threat, I think, is still going to maintain around 3-inch in diameter hail being possible. And the wind threat, I think, will be closer to 60, maybe 70. The 80-mile-an-hour wind threat, I'm really surprised that's in place right now. This 80-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning. It's just this little area of heightened velocities that could produce up to 80-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, I decided to keep going because right when I was about to end, we got like 3 destructive severes and 2 tornado warnings. So even though it was a radar hole, I'm like, you know what? I ain't ending on that. I'll just go a little longer. Might as well stay live for the 9 o'clock SPC update too, because why not? Well, with the SPC's new MCD, they're definitely not going to be going enhanced. Considering they downgraded the wording, they're not going to be going enhanced. Also, the storm going into Enid, Oklahoma, it has died out so fast. If you are in Enid, Oklahoma, still very heavy rain, probably very small hail, likely nothing bigger than quarters, and 60-mile-an-hour winds will be possible. That 1.5-inch observed hail threat, that was observed, let me see. Yeah, that was observed back up here in Hillsdale, which was when the storm was starting to weaken, but not as weak as what it is now. You can see here it was much stronger in Hillsdale when it produced that 1.5-inch hail. Now it's weakened substantially. All right, new tornado warning on this storm. 22 more minutes here. So make sure you're still in your safe spot. That's our only active tornado warning right now. What was that? Chaser says it's on the ground. Apparently, according to a Chaser, there's a tornado on the ground now. Right in here, going to the south. Apparently, a tornado on the ground. So make sure you're in your safe spot here. in this tornado warning. If we don't have a tornado on the ground, a tornado is definitely imminent, and there may already be a tornado on the ground. They did keep it slight risk, by the way. We already got the SBC outlook. There's 274 people, 0 schools, and 0 hospitals in that new warning. So they disextended the marginal big time on the northern end. They extended the marginal a little east, and the slight risk they disextended a little bit on the north side. Very minimal changes, just some disk expansions and a little expansion for the marginal eastward. All right, let's see. I don't have any of the probabilities yet. I'm sure. Let's see. Actually, I don't know. With that new MCD, they may not increase the wind probability either. I think we're definitely past our peak tornado threat. And I think we've passed our peak hail threat. I think we're on the downtrend now for severe weather, but we're still going to be seeing severe storms probably all the way up till 2 a.m. tonight out in this area. But yeah, our main event is definitely passed. Did they just upgrade that severe? Let's go check on that. They sure did. 2.5-inch hail. Yeah, look at that. Newest scans are substantially stronger for this storm. 2.5-inch hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds for this storm here. Just barely north, heading towards the Highway 64 corridor, just northeast of Freedom in northwest Oklahoma. The MCD was wrong when they issued it. It was wrong when they issued it. Let's see here. Yeah, so our two main storms, actually 3 main storms to watch here are these. This one with 3-inch hail, this one with 2-inch hail and a possible tornado ongoing, and this one with 2.5-inch hail. Those are the main storms to watch right now. Hold on, I gotta go fix this stuff before I forget. Give me just a second, y'all. There we go. I didn't see a tornado. A chaser just said a tornado was on the ground, so I just relayed what I heard from a chaser. I didn't see it from a chaser. I know for sure we had 1 tornado today. I saw that personally from a chaser's feed. This one, a chaser said was on the ground. I didn't see it. And this one up here, a chaser said it was on the ground when this storm. Okay, let me do time frame. So this storm formed back up here near Dodge City, moved south, and a chaser said it produced a tornado in here, although I never saw it. No one else ever confirmed it. Then it went on to the southwest. It did produce a tornado somewhere in here. We saw that from a chaser feed. And now in here, a chaser says a tornado's on the ground, but there's no official confirmation from it. So we have had 3 possible tornadoes today. Definitely 1 tornado. We definitely had at least 1 tornado. 3, possibly 3 tornadoes. The end of my title stream for April 27th, 2011. Uh, I think at first it would probably be April 27th, 2011 super outbreak as it happened. But as more data came in and more surveys happened, I'd probably end up changing it to something stronger wording. Because that day literally, it's like I don't even know the stats for that day. It's gotten too late. I don't want to say the wrong stats for it. But I know it was a super outbreak and it was like, it was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah, they didn't change the outlook. 2% Tor, 5% wind, 15 sig hail. So hail remains the biggest issue tonight. Six Tors at once, I believe. I don't think so. Dude, I think we had like I think we had two or three violent tornadoes ongoing at the same time, and there was probably way more tornadoes ongoing at one time. I remember the case study I did. There was like 20 to, I don't know, what was it, like 30? 20 to 30 active tornado warnings, and most of them were confirmed or toried or PDS. I remember doing the case study on it. I mean, it was crazy. I don't even know how I would react covering it. I think I would just be more speechless and overwhelmed. Because that, I mean, I can't even imagine covering it. I can't imagine covering it. I couldn't even tell you what I'd be doing in that moment because I don't know. March 14th is a different realm. March 14th, we had just a couple PDS warnings and like a Tory or two at once. I mean, April 27th, there was multiple violent tornadoes happening at the same time, and I'm pretty sure there was like 2 or 3 EF5s ongoing at the same time, or about to. I'm pretty sure they were ongoing. I'm pretty sure there was an EF5 in northeastern Mississippi and northwest Alabama ongoing at the same time as the Tuscaloosa tornado, and there was the other EF5 in south central slash southeastern Mississippi. A lot of them were happening at like the same time because it was a confluence band, and confluence band obviously it's going to set up like this, so it was just a line of supercells that set up, moved east, and then a couple discrete cells out in front that also produced. So you just had a line of supercells producing tornadoes, which were actually many of them semi-discrete to discrete, and then the prefrontals producing tornadoes from confluence bands. And I think there was 3 confluence bands that day. Pretty sure there was 3. Woodward could see some severe storms tonight, but right now it seems like much of this is staying to your west. A lot of it will be in this area. We have the singular scattered severe here, here, and here, but a lot of our severe weather is focused in this corridor. Right in here. So you have a chance for severe weather for sure, but it seems like much of it is staying barely to your west at the moment. I'm gonna have to revisit April 27th, 2011, because I mean it was just crazy. Hmm. Actually, do this, do this, downloads. Let's see. Oh, gracious day. That's the that's the more tornado. Wrong one. I just got jump scared. Let's see here. I gotta find the right one. I have so many place files that I did. Or not place files. Just downloading all these files from the April 27th, 2011 Super Outbreak. But you know what? I should go back to April 27th. Okay, right around here is when I made the video. Let's see. I can't find any of them, actually. Well, I'm going to have to just... I thought I saved them, but I guess I didn't. This is not current. Here's a random one, Legacy. If you're still in here, you know this one. This was March 3rd, 2020. Pretty sure Legacy's at a fair. That was a crazy tornado. I did not cover that live, but I went back and looked at a lot of this radar stuff and things that happened that day. Let's go back to the live radar. Now, this is the live radar here. Oh. Well, crap. The live radar looks different than I thought. We got 2 new tornado warnings. So we got a new tornado warning on here, this side. So it's for the same storm, but it's on the west side here for 39 more minutes. And then we got a new tornado warning out here in Texas for this area of potential rotation. So we're back up to 3 tornado warnings now. Also, this storm just got upgraded to a PDS severe as well. 2.75-inch hail, 70-mile-an-hour winds on that storm. Just barely to the northeast of Freedom in Oklahoma. And the Enid, Oklahoma storm was downgraded to 1-inch hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds. Still stay indoors, away from doors and windows, but that storm is dying out. So we really just have these 3. These 3 are our main storms right now. Those 3. We do have this one that is very, very weak. That's just kind of there. And then this one dying out. But those 2 aren't significant at the moment. Well, I extend my coverage some, but I'm not going to go any further than this. I know there's now 3 tornado warnings ongoing, but I have to get stuff done tonight, and it's almost 9 o'clock. By the time I end, it will be 9. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to end with a couple warnings, couple tornado warnings active. But if you are in this area, make sure you remain hyper weather aware. If you're in this region, we're likely to see multiple 2+-inch hailstones and a tornado or 2 over the next 2 hours. And throughout the rest of the night, too. We're probably going to see more storms fire. So really, if you are anywhere, if you're anywhere inside the severe thunderstorm watch area, especially in here, you want to make sure you're keeping a very close eye on the weather. And the west side of that, like I said, right in this region, that's where our worst severe storms will be for the next 2 hours. Up to 4-inch hail still, up to 4-inch hail, up to 80-mile-an-hour winds, and a tornado or 2 will all be possible. But unfortunately, we've reached the end of where I can cover. So I appreciate all you guys for tuning in. I'm glad I could stream 3 hours today. Glad I can't English. Glad I streamed an extra hour as well, because we got to cover two more other tornado warnings. So these storms are going to continue to be pretty rough for the next hour and a half or 2. And then after about 11 p.m. Eastern, we're going to start seeing a decrease in overall intensity. And then between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m., we're going to have the isolated severe storm. Then after 2 a.m. Eastern, all this stuff's going to be completely died out and gone. So the next time I'll see you guys, who knows when? Who knows when? I don't know. I don't plan on doing a video anytime soon because there's nothing to talk about. And I don't plan on a stream anytime soon because there's nothing to stream. So I will see y'all when I see y'all. And I hope you have a great rest of your Monday night. We'll start the outro music here in about 2-3 minutes, and that will run for 3 minutes. So appreciate the mods for Mod Chat. Appreciate everyone for being here. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with the notification bell set to all so you know when I go live or upload a video. And share the channel with your family, friends, social media. It's greatly appreciated. Apologize I can't cover any later tonight, but there's stuff I just need to get done. I only planned for a 1 hour live stream. I thought I was only going to do a briefing for 6 to 7, and then storms went fire till 9. So I didn't actually plan to cover all the way from 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. That just kind of happened when storms started popping off. So, yeah. Again, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in here. I'm just going to load up. Let's see. We're going to load up this loop. Plenty of hail reports. Let me tell you all the reports. So we had 1 tornado, 1 wind, and 25 hail reports. That tornado report hasn't registered in yet, but it will be. It will be 1 tornado report. I guarantee it because they're going to go survey it. I guarantee we'll be at least 1 tornado report. We have 1 wind report at the moment and 25 hail reports. And all that stuff's going to go up as they survey things and stuff like that. So definitely an overperforming day. That is for sure. Definitely overperforming day. All right. That is it. So again, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next live stream or video that I do. And I hope you have a great rest of your Monday and Tuesday, because I know I won't be live tomorrow. I may be live or something Wednesday. I don't know. We'll just see. We're just going to wing it. I'll pay attention to the weather. If something seems like it's starting to get going, we'll go live for it, talk about it, or make a video and talk about it. So once again, I appreciate all you guys for being here. Also, thank you, Charles, for the $2 donation. I apologize I missed that. Thank you for the $2 donation. Again, sorry I missed that. And again, thank you, mods for Mod Chat, everyone for being here. Have a great rest of your Monday. And we are down to just 1 destructive severe, so they did just downgrade that. So this severe towards freedom just got downgraded to 1.75 inch hail, no longer 2.75 inch hail. So yeah, thank you, Ben, Pete, Catman, Caleb for modding chat. Appreciate it. And that's it. Stay safe. Watch severe weather in the tropics. I'll see you on the next live stream or video that I do. Have a great rest of your Monday and have a great Tuesday as well. Goodbye. Stay safe, watch the great weather in the tropics, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or video that I do. Thank you much for watching chat once again. Have a great rest of your Monday night. Goodbye.